You know the drill. Interesting day in the market today, and tomorrow's going to be a little bit crazier. What up, Vans? Let's be stress-free. You're new in here. What's going on? Fortunately, you're probably not going to be stress-free in the trading world, but I like the name. If you don't know how to go into the chat and type Mr. Let's Be Stress-Free, just click the little open chat button next to the free live stream channel that you clicked on. Slowing down your computer? Well, Charlie, it sounds like you need a new one maybe. YouTube, Twitter, you guys can ask questions as well. I'm just kind of waiting for another minute or two to let everyone pile in here, and then we'll get started. But, you know, it's a free lesson, so typically it's kind of a Q&A. I do want to talk about a ETF that I'm supposed to be sharing with you guys. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Charlie, restarting a PC and also making sure that a bunch of other apps aren't running. Seems pretty quiet in here tonight. Where is everybody? But yeah, so tomorrow morning is going to be interesting. We got CPI an hour before the open. I haven't seen any estimates on that yet. So, you know, we'll see. But typically, you can't really guess exactly what the market's going to do. Obviously, if CPI is the term is hot, meaning it just comes in higher than expected, market will typically it'll probably pull back, to be honest with you. But sometimes bad news that isn't as bad as people expect is considered good. So it could be semi-bad and not really bad, and the market could go up. So we don't really know. But big reason why today I didn't take any trades. Market was kind of weird. We had a couple runners, though. Tesla had a really good day today, up about 2.5% here. Had a run from, you know, around 172, 173, all the way up to 180 almost. So, yeah, pretty wild, but nothing that I really wanted to trade. I mean, maybe there was some money to be made there. Let's just go down to the 1 minute chart. Just, you know, crazy rip. And then we saw the market totally just fall off for a second. And yeah, just overall kind of a weird day. Why is my screen like this? One second, guys. Show badges replace. Huh. Weird. I can't see. Whatever. I'll fix this real quick, and then we'll get going. So yeah, I do have an ETF that I'm supposed to share with you guys. It's kind of cool. I'm actually learning some stuff from it. The ticker is, I think it's FBL. So basically what this is a 2 times leveraged meta ETF. So I don't know how long it's been around, but I can switch my screen here to show you guys. Let's see, share screen, entire screen for you guys on YouTube. And then for Discord, we'll do the same thing. All right, so FBL, pretty much it's a 2 times leveraged ETF for Meta. And for you guys that haven't been around the trading world for that long, Meta's, before it was Meta, obviously it was Facebook, right? And the ticker used to be FB. So I'm guessing that's why it's FBL for Facebook leveraged. And then obviously they switched to Meta. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple here. So basically what this ETF wants to capture is double the return of Meta. That means there's also going to be double the downside if Meta does fall over, but also double the upside. Performance-wise, the last month, FBL is up almost 11%. For 3 months, it's up 23%. Year to date, it's up 338%. So pretty crazy. Facebook, Meta itself is up 194%. So not necessarily perfectly 200% or 2 times the return, but as you're going to see in a lot of any sort of ETF like this, there's somewhat of a disclaimer. There is no guarantee that the fund will meet its stated objective, but obviously, it's not 200%, but it's very close. So I don't know, pretty cool. If anyone wants to invest in Meta and is willing to deal with a little bit more pain on pullbacks than Meta itself, this could be a pretty good ETF to look at. So obviously, fun breakdown here. It's one stock, all technology, because it's all Meta, and here they even have it stated as Facebook. There's a lot of these. There's some for Tesla. I believe there's one for NVDA. But other analysts are supposed to be going over these as well. So there's really not a whole lot else I can say about it. I like how the price is pretty cheap. It's not like you're going to spend roughly $500 per share as you are right now on Meta, right? Meta's at $515, $516 right now. FBL is under $30 a share, sitting right around 29 to 29.5. Yearly chart, obviously, is going to look pretty similar to Meta, up here close to all-time highs. At the beginning of this year, we were actually right around 15, and now we're sitting close to 30, like I said. So pretty interesting there. Not something that I would trade on a day-to-day basis. Maybe with equities, I would try it. I don't know how the options look. We could take a look at that really quickly. They don't have many options, and honestly, they have no volume, as we can see. Look at the spread here, though, guys. The ask is 160, and the bid is 40. So you're going to be hurting on that if you try to trade the options. So as I guessed, equities would be the only way that I could trade this, but obviously the Meta contracts are going to be a bit better. So what's up, Duco? There we go. Get some more people in here. Doctor Wolfman. Like I said earlier, anyone on Twitter or YouTube, you guys can ask questions as well, and I can see it. So, but as per usual, guys, this is Tuesday, so it's more of a Q&A free lesson for anyone. My Thursday lessons are more topic-based, so, I'll have some sort of slideshow, more in-depth lesson. Tonight is just answering y'all's questions, charting a little bit, getting things ready for tomorrow, and that's about it. We don't have to stay for the whole hour, but I am here for an hour if you guys want me to. What does it mean 2x leverage on the most basic level? What does it mean? Charlie, do you want me to explain that again for you? I just now saw that question, so I don't know if you got that or not, but if not, basically just, if Meta moves 1%, FBL will move 2% pretty much. So it's just roughly going to move double what Meta would. B. Diddley on YouTube. Intel. Let's see what's going on with Intel. Very weak, which is interesting. But, just real quickly, I'll come back to it. You see AMD has been pretty weak recently. NVIDIA has been pretty weak recently. Micron hit all-time highs, which is actually one of the stronger ones out of the few. Typically, Micron and Intel are the ones that are lagging behind the up-and-coming, newer, more modern names like NVIDIA and AMD. So that's kind of cool to see. But Intel, without any sort of insight, I don't really know what you want me to say here other than it's weak. There's not really anywhere for me to trade it. I actually kind of wish I traded this head and shoulders pattern here. It's obvious that I had it marked out. We got each shoulder on the side, and then we have the head here. the neckline around this area that we broke. Very nice short there. We do have earnings coming up on April the 25th. So maybe something to watch. Maybe they can surprise and bounce back up. But, right now you typically will see a move in the same direction that earnings will take place in. And right now you're seeing some weakness coming into earnings in about 2 weeks. NVDA on X. Do you trade ES futures? I do not trade ES futures. I do watch ES and NQ every day, though. I trade their underlying stocks. So, I watch ES and NQ basically as more of an indicator. So if I want to trade Tesla or NVIDIA or Meta, I'll be looking at ES and NQ to see, okay, what are the futures doing? If they're strong and my stock is strong, great. If my stock is strong and I see ES and NQ being more on the weak side, well, I know that my stock is stronger than the overall market. And then if I can get a bounce from futures, that may help accelerate it even further to the upside. So nothing wrong with trading futures. I just rather use them as more of an indicator in my trading than, than to try to trade the actual raw futures. You've been in puts since 42.50. Oh, beautiful. So you actually ended up catching this move, B. Diddley. Good job. Obviously, like I said, I had this marked out here, but it's just not something that I watch on a day-to-day basis, so I missed it. So glad you caught that. That's really good. NVIDIA, yeah, for sure. What's up, Brandon Ducart? Discord, you guys are quiet. What's going on? Tell me something. But so kind of a weird day today. We had an insane sell-off here, kind of right after I got off my live trading. And then it ended up fizzling out a little bit. But look at this, man. The opening hour, 15 hour and a half was just kind of dead. And then, boom, just really wild. I wanted to see stuff like Apple actually sell off, and it just didn't. It just didn't really do anything because it was so strong in the morning. So it ended up just coming back down to low a day and then bouncing after the market cooled off. This is one stock that it's just really taken its time here. I'm waiting for it to give up this 168 level. I think a lot of people are going to be looking at this. Obviously there's a chance that we could break and then get bought back up. But if we can just find a day when NQ looks like it did today, and actually just continues, this is the kind of price action I'm wanting to see on futures. And then if Apple has a weak day as well, it's going to be, a really, really beautiful trade. For anyone that hasn't heard me talk about this, Discord guys, I know you probably have, so I'll make this quick. But the reason I look at this is because look what BA did back here. And I actually caught part of this trade, and it was awesome. Let's go on the yearly chart. So BA kind of did the same thing here. Sell off on that bad news, right, with the door coming off the plane. Hung around for a little bit, really didn't go anywhere, got real tight here, just no movement, right around this $200 level. Once we got a little bit more bad news and we gave up that support, boom. We spent 2-3 months sitting in this range, and you could tell we just hovered right on that level, broke it a few times, just no real volume, got just a little bit more bad news, and boom, 3 days later, we're down 10% on the stock. And that's just beautiful trade there. So that's what I'm looking for on Apple. The same kind of scenario, right? You're seeing it roll over, just hover right here above 168, kind of right under 170. And, catching a $3 to $5 move on Apple would really, really pay from a day trading perspective. So if we can break under here, even break 165, I do think that 160 could be in store. Ideally, we do get some sort of bad news on Apple to really give it that volume and momentum that I want to see. If we don't, whatever, I still think the trade's going to be there. But like I said, if we did get some sort of negative catalyst on this, it'll make the trade 10 times better. So I'm not really mad that it's hanging out for this long, just because, day after day, there could be another chance for some bad news. Stickman, yeah, there is some more BA news. The only thing is, and I've seen this happen before on some stocks. Obviously, the initial bad news, there's going to be a bigger reaction. But the more and more we see, okay, a bolt fell off this plane. Okay, some of the metal came off of this plane. Obviously, if another door flies off or a wing, you know, falls off and the plane crashes or just something catastrophic like that, then I think we could see another big move on BA. But little pieces falling off, it's just kind of similar to the same news we've been seeing for the last couple months, and the stock really isn't going to get hit by it. I think, Stigman, correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like you would know this, but I saw a tweet today about another Boeing whistleblower going to court. I know the other one, he got suicided. I hope I can say that on here, but I think you all know what I mean. One of the biggest Boeing whistleblowers was found dead. Yeah. Obviously, they're saying that he did it to himself, but I think we all know what probably happened there. And, it was right before that he was about to testify. So I think there's another one coming up. Yeah, unalived. That's better, Charlie. I think there's another whistleblower that's going to come talk. I think it's going to be in the next couple days. So if we see a surprise there, I definitely want to keep an eye on BA. We saw that stuff with Southwest Airlines over the weekend. And honestly, I thought Southwest would maybe see a sell-off here. And we actually ended up bouncing just a little bit. Nothing crazy, but a little bounce here. But if you really think about it, it's not Southwest's fault. They just had the decal on the plane and had their pilots flying it. It was obviously the manufacturer of the airplane, right? So it's on Boeing's fault. So, I did look at LUV here, Southwest, but obviously no movement there. If there was some sort of crazy sell-off, I would have looked to take advantage of it, but there really just wasn't. Part of the wing or engine had issues. Yeah. I don't know if that was today or not. I did see part of the wing and part of like the right engine on one of these Boeing Southwest planes. Like the metal started tearing off mid-flight, and the pilot didn't have any sort of warning sign. So the passengers actually had to go up there and tell them, hey, our wing is about to come off. So they had an emergency land. So yeah, I mean, we could either be basing out here, which I don't really think could happen. I mean, this doesn't look like a bad trade here at all. We kind of have this little H pattern here. We have a low here, 176. I actually may even want to look at this tomorrow, just because we're right here at this new low. So let's see what other support levels we have under this. I mean, there's kind of a zone in this area, to be honest with you, which doesn't make me that thrilled to play it, but that also means that we can actually just come down and test the bottom of this zone here around 170. I would love a $10 move on Boeing. Even a $5 move fairly quick could really, really pay, especially with same week options that I'd be trading on it. So 176.25, you guys mark that out on your charts. We have a low of the day today at 176.57. Ideally, we don't break that 25-cent level, and we can actually catch that in the morning. I got to say, I do like the downside setups that I have a lot more than the upside. Typically, I like to trade the upside names. And honestly, the market tells me that obviously it's strong, right? It hasn't really stopped. But to me, it looks like we're starting to kind of go flat here. That's not the best looking picture. Let's do the 4-hour maybe. Just on a big time frame, we're seeing SPY just kind of sit flat in this area, right? We came up here, we're starting to go flat, we're breaking this uptrend here. So maybe that could be the first sign of a top. We roll over here through 515, maybe come down and test 500. I think that's very doable. I'm waiting for some sort of pullback here because, guys, we've been ripping straight up for 6 months. There hasn't been any sort of real pullback like you were seeing back in this time. So, it's just kind of a patience game. I have these downside setups waiting for us. If the market gives it to us, great. If not, then we just got to look for the upside. So, really, my upside setups are going to be Meta. This was pretty weak here. I honestly thought this setup would work a little bit better through 530. We actually ended up catching this and made some money on it. And it just didn't follow through. We ended up selling off. Market had obviously a pretty decent sell-off today. And Meta is just kind of hanging out. But as long as it can hang above 510, one of these days, if the market ends up bouncing, then we could keep ripping. Yeah, Duco. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all if we keep ripping back up. So I like Meta, and then Microsoft is going to be my kind of my second option here. Just looking at it on a weekly chart, I mean, we're just not moving downward at all. Even though the market's kind of going flat and maybe even rolling over a little bit, this thing is sitting right next to all-time highs. I mean, we're within $4 or $5 from it. I would really like to, honestly, you look at it maybe on a 4 hour, you kind of have a little bit of a wedge. It's not the cleanest wedge in the world, but check this out. Kind of a flat top looking thing. Nothing too special, but maybe it takes a couple more days here. And once we get that 430 break, that's when you could see, a $5, $10, $15 move in one day, kind of up into this 450 level. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing. So keep that on your side watch. Microsoft, Meta. Those are going to be my two for the upside that I like the most. Mr. Happy on Discord, what's up, man? Let's see. Next, Netflix has been kind of one of the stronger ones. We actually sold off today pretty hard, but once again, this is just kind of chopping around, grinding higher. All-time high is around 700. So we're within $100 from that. Wouldn't be surprised if we get back up there. A lot of guys on Twitter here. If you guys have any questions, ask away. Mr. Happy, you want me to look at Nike? Okay, I haven't looked at Nike in a while. Looking pretty weak here. Just had earnings a couple weeks ago. I mean, I'm not mad at maybe playing this low here. I mean, we bounced basically right on it here. This low is 88.66. This low here is 88.80. So what's that? 14 cents away from that low. If this stays weak, I do think that maybe there could be a move to 85. I don't know why it's weak. Nike's really just not a name that I love. The downside long term. Okay, I like your trend lines here, Mr. Happy. That's good. You're looking at it the right way. I can see your arrows too. You're kind of looking for a break and retest there to the downside. That's really good. I don't necessarily agree with the really long white trend line you have on one of those, but I do see what you're saying though. The arrows are yours. Good. Well, then you still get the picture, even though that's Porter's chart. But yeah, no, really good. You're looking at the right things for sure. You want to see those kind of break and retest, that slower move. Nike is not a name that you're going to get a massive move in one day. It's a sub $150 stock. It's honestly sub 100 actually. So you're looking at the right thing. Good job. What else you guys got for me? Twitter, YouTube, you guys are quiet. B. Diddley, you got any more? Vidya? PayPal. Oh, good one. I was looking at that today and I saw an alert go off on my phone, but I was already off the charts here. I do want to look at this high coming into 70 here. So that is good. I do like how we kind of touched this resistance here, pulled back, higher low. So honestly, I'm probably going to look to play the $68 level. And PayPal's, again, not a PayPal's not a fast mover, right? It's probably something that you're going to have to hold for maybe a day or two, or it's not something that I typically trade where I like to be in and out within under 10 minutes. So if I do take it, it's going to be kind of a smaller position and look to really ride it out. Try to see if I can get to that $70 level. Ideally, I get it in a day. I don't know that it's a stock that I'm going to be trying to swing overnight, but I do like this setup here. For you guys that like to swing, I do like this setup here through 68 and maybe look for a target of 70. That could be to kind of target one here. Then you can just kind of look to scale out above 70 at every dollar level. Could it, over time rip back up into the 80s? Yeah, of course. But, I don't know when. I don't know how long that's going to take. From an option standpoint, I would look for this nice $2 move here on a stock that's, less than $75. A $2 move would really be good from an options perspective. So good looks on that for sure. Mr. Let's Be Stress Free. So, like I said, CPI tomorrow morning at 8:30 Eastern time, 1 hour before the open. We have PPI coming out pre-market on Thursday. So that's going to move the market a little bit. Nothing as crazy as CPI for sure. And then we also have FOMC minutes tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern, I believe. Basically, for y'all that don't know what FOMC minutes is, it's just kind of a recap on the last FOMC meeting. It's basically just looking at the transcriptions, the notes of the last FOMC meeting. So it's nothing that hasn't been said, but it's just kind of a reiteration of what Mr. Powell and all the guys at the Fed talked about. So that could move the market a little bit. It's not that anticipated, but I do recommend not trading during that just because you could see kind of a whiplash move. Something I do want to talk about CPI though, and funded accounts and all that. I've told this story before. I don't necessarily agree with funded accounts. I think if you can make them work, great. But remember, it's a business, so those guys will make money on the in the end. There's a lot of things I can go on about funded accounts, and I will if you guys want to. But if I were to ever be forced to try to pass a funded account, right? If I had to, CPI is the only time I would try to do that. Why? Well, because there's going to be a really big move in the market. Well, I don't want to say anything crazy, but pre-market, there's going to be a pretty significant move on futures. So what would I do? You can trade SPX pre-market. So on whatever funded company you use, if you can trade SPX, because there's been a lot of regulations coming into it. A lot of them you can't even use them in the US anymore. That means you kind of do like a VPN and all that stuff. You can't trade stocks anymore. It has to be futures, stuff like that. But that's kind of beside the point. If I wanted to pass a funded account, I would, you have to pay a fee up front, right? Maybe you pay $500 for the opportunity to either pass the funded account challenge, or you fail it and they keep the 500, or you pass it and they keep the 500, right? No matter what, they're going to take the 500 or whatever fee it is. But let's say you pay $500 for the opportunity to pass the challenge, and then you get access to $50,000 in trading capital or whatever, right? So what I would do is I would buy 2 accounts, knowing that on one of them I'm going to lose. So let's say I did 500 and 500. So I'm in with $1,000, but on one of them, if I do pass, I get 50 grand. On the other, if I pass, I get 50 grand. What I would do is I would go all in on SPX calls on one and all in on SPX puts on the other. One side's going to win, the other side's not. But typically, I think a funded account, you have to make like 10% on the account or something, which is pretty crazy. But that's why that a lot of people fail and they make a lot of money on their fees. But that's kind of a way to cheat the system. If anyone is interested in that, I don't really condone that, and I don't really like funded accounts to begin with. But since CPI is coming up, I thought I would share that again, because you will, if you go all in on something like SPX, you're probably going to make a 200% return. You probably don't even have to go all in, but if you do, you're going to see a huge return on one side, and it's going to pass that challenge for you. And I think you actually can get your first payout after that as well, if it works out the right way. Obviously, SPX can do a whiplash move and you can get caught. But what I would do is be looking for that. Okay, what's my 10% gain here, or whatever it is? Once I'm up that, get out. Other side, you're just going to lose no matter what, unless you see a crazy move up and a crazy move right back down. So I think that may be helpful for anyone on YouTube or Twitter that is interested in funded accounts, but that's kind of a little cheat code for you if you haven't thought of that yet. I wouldn't do that for Powell, because that's typically a whiplash move that just goes up and down. There's really no other market news, kind of market catalyst, that I would want you guys to kind of gamble your funded accounts on. But that also means if you end up passing that account, don't just start going haywire and trying to do that every single time, or trying to trade, crazy once you pass that account. It's simply just a way to open the door for you to get that capital and then trade the right way with that bigger account. So hope you enjoyed that. But we're only 30 minutes in, guys. I've kind of covered everything that I have. So if there's no questions, then we can run out of here. If there is any, though, we got plenty of time. We can talk about anything. I did see. I think I think Biden. I don't know if it was today or yesterday, but he was like an hour or 2 hours late to his press conference because he was still in bed sleeping. Um, and they found, well, I think his schedule is decently public. I mean, I don't know that you can just Google Biden's daily schedule, but I think the day before, all he had was one phone call that day. So it wasn't, most people weren't tired from a one phone call workday, but I did see that in the news today that he was 1 or 2 hours late to his press conference today. Maybe it was yesterday or whatever. It was the last couple of days. Yeah, Duco, it could have been a really long call. You're right. Pretty tiring. What's up, Deals for Days? I haven't seen you in a little bit. Were you there this morning live trading with me? Kind of a boring day. I didn't do anything. I didn't take any trades, just kind of watched everything move around. I don't really know what's going on with NVIDIA. Did you guys see that sell-off? I saw some tweets go out. Zuma's not in here tonight, but I showed him cheddar flow on X. For anyone listening on Twitter, cheddar flow is a really good options flow page. So, Fat Tony, what's up, man? If it was a long distance call, you could have been jet lagged. Yeah. Yeah. Truth, man. I bet he was really just tired from that call. Anyways, there were a lot of NVIDIA put sweeps coming in, meaning people were buying out of the money puts. And when you follow this account, you're not going to see a 10 or 50 or $100,000, order. It's going to be, 250, 500,000, a million. It's those bigger option flows that they're tracking. So you can see, what the bigger players are doing, and they were buying out of the money NVIDIA puts, I think yesterday or early this morning. And they absolutely cashed out. I mean, look at this move here. Opened up around 875 and we hit a low of 830. So $45 move on an $800 stock, roughly a 5% move on the stock, which would probably offer, depending on what contracts you traded, anywhere from, 50, 100% to 500, 600, 700%. So you're only here for a bit this morning, Duco. All good. Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have the stream and stuff like that, I'd probably take today off. There wasn't really any great setups, and I left a little bit earlier than usual, simply just because there was nothing going on. I typically would spend about 15, 20, maybe 30 minutes here on my own on a CPI day, or the day before CPI, and just move on. There's just nothing there. Unless there's an A+ setup that I want to sit there that's, close to being at that level. No reason to be there. No reason to put yourself in the environment to take a trade you shouldn't, and you can just move on. The market's going to be there tomorrow. There's probably going to be a lot more clean price action for us tomorrow morning. I don't want to jinx it, but it seemed like the price action today was waiting on CPI and FOMC, and then like I said, we have PPI on Thursday. So we'll see. I'm not live trading tomorrow though. So, like I said, BA, Apple downside, Microsoft, Meta upside. Tesla, we'll see. Probably won't trade that until around 160 or 185. So we're just kind of right in the middle of that range that I'm not interested in. Simple as that. What else we got going here? Let's just see what our futures are. NQ, you can just kind of tell we're losing steam, guys. We're not making these crazy rip ups. I'm looking for some sort of pullback that looks similar to this, right? So let's do something like this. Where would this pullback lead us? If I did this, and I copied, duplicated that drawing, that would lead NQ down around 17.5. So that's the kind of the pullback I'm waiting on. We're not seeing any crazy rips anymore. We saw one 4 weeks ago, but last week was kind of an inside bar, meaning we just kind of stayed in between the high and the low of the day, the week before, actually the week before that, and closed right in the middle of the candle for that week. And obviously, this week has been even more so on the inside, right? Just not much movement there at all. This is 2 days worth of price action here. Good, Duco. Dividend payments, Tesla and Neo upside. Love it. What's Neo been up to, man? I haven't looked at that in a while. Down here at lows. Are you just kind of still scooping up some Neo shares, or what are you doing? This used to be a crazy stock. I remember swinging it. I think it was on this move up in here, just because they had like the Neo Day thing. And yeah, that was crazy. And then that was actually, so I was swinging Neo, and that's when the January 6th riots happened. So it was like the day before Neo Day. I was up really nicely on the stock. I actually sold a little bit. And then the riots happened, and Neo and everything tanked for a couple hours. And I almost panic sold on that. So that was pretty crazy. I remember that being right around this $55, $57 level. And I held the rest of that up close to 62 or 63. Lower cost base on the shares. Love it. Good. Good. A little dollar cost average. What else do you guys got for me? A lot of people on X still. Not seeing any questions other than one. All right, Duke, go take care, man. Vans, you got any questions? I know you're new here. You can ask whatever you want. Fat Tony, deals for days. Got a new one. Name is COVID. What's up? Breckle, what's going on? Breckle, yeah, go for it. What's the key to happiness? Oh man, making money in the market, maybe. I don't know. What's up, COVID? Pretty crazy name, but I like it. But yeah, guys, and I really don't have much else. Pretty boring day in the market. Well, Breckle, I wish I could say that out loud. Vans, so I've been swing trading for a few years. How do you get in and out of trades so fast? I've been using E-Trade. So I think there is some options for you to be more of an active trader on E-Trade. I don't know if it's a specific software you have to use or what it is. So I don't know if you're using the website on E-Trade or if you're actually using the software. I use Thinkorswim, which is what you're looking at right now, and then I do my execution, meaning my buying and selling on Interactive Brokers. Looks like Charlie is agreeing with you how slow E-Trade is. How do I get in and out of trade so fast? Well, one, it's just kind of been the style I've done for a couple of years. Going on 6 years ish. So it's just something I'm used to. It's definitely not for everyone. And if you don't have, if you're trying to do it off your phone, it's just not really going to work. But like I said, I use Thinkorswim for charting. That's what you're seeing right now. Then Interactive Brokers, where I'm doing my buying and selling. So, you're going to start out probably wanting to buy market and selling market. So meaning you just click a button and it gets you in instantly, and you click a button and it gets you out instantly. So you want to learn more about the style. Okay, perfect. Yeah. Well, I'm your guy for that. I can definitely get you set up on, I'm always going to advocate for Thinkorswim just because it's free. And I think it's a perfect starting platform. It may look like a lot in the beginning, but over time, I will help you. And I actually do have a little tutorial in the Discord that I recorded over Thinkorswim. Long time to select everything. Yeah. Okay. So, obviously it's just going to take practice and some time, but I need to see I would need to see kind of like what your platform looks like and all that. Um, but like I said, you could obviously switch to Thinkorswim just because it's free. You can just transfer your money right over to that. Or, you can also paper trade. You don't actually have to use real money right off the bat. So more than happy to help, Vans. You just got to ask the questions. I can you, since you're in my day trader coaches corner, we can, we're open for one-on-ones. So meaning we can do like a 1 hour call together on Discord. You can share your screen. We can really get in depth with it. I did one with Chris, like Badu Chris, I think is his name on here. He's not here tonight, but we had a one-on-one call and he shared his screen and he used interactive brokers as well. So walked him through the whole process, got it all set up for him, all the tools and bells and whistles that I use. And I've also done that for a couple of the people on Thinkorswim. So I'm more than happy to help you. That's why I'm here. Okay, Fat Tony, you're from New Zealand. So I know that interactive brokers, you can use it in Canada. That would probably take a simple Google search to see if you can use Thinkorswim as well, because Thinkorswim used to be owned by TD Ameritrade, and it is now owned by Charles Schwab. So you're probably have to look that up. But, Mr. Tony, you can easily just show me, at least just tell me your options once you get a sec, in the next couple days. If you do some research and just shoot me a DM or just, text me in the Discord here. And I'd be more than happy to help you out to see which one that I personally would use if you want to start day trading. So New Zealand, though, that's pretty cool. What time is it there? I'm going to say it again. A lot of people on Twitter, even more coming in here. So you guys can ask your questions. I don't know what it looks like on Twitter, but if there's some sort of, you may have to click on the live and then ask or post some sort of comment. Vidya did it one time. So one person on X, actually two people. Brandon did as well. 1:42 p.m. That's cool. It's 8:42 p.m. where I am. So that actually means that your live trading would be at an interesting time. You are 7 hours behind me, meaning that you would be having to trade at 1:30 a.m. for market open, I think. Yeah, what season is it? 30-day trial. So I don't know. Okay, so again, I've used Thinkorswim for over 5 years now, and I got it back, obviously, whenever it was owned by TD Ameritrade. So I think that 30-day trial probably means you don't have to put any sort of money in your account to paper trade or anything like that. But typically they're going to make you put, I think the minimum is like $500 into a Schwab account. Once you have that money there, you don't have to touch it. You can just leave it there, right? So you're not going to lose it, and then you could continue to paper trade longer. Stickman, you may know a little bit more on that right now, but I think that's how it goes. Because typically, if you open an account, they're going to give you a 20-minute delay. So whatever I'm seeing at that minute, they're going to be 20 minutes behind me, but you can still paper trade and stuff. But you don't want that. You want to put that $500 in the account into the real live trading account, and then you just have the option to switch from live or paper trading. And, besides the green that you're going to see up here, it's going to be orange. So that's how you know that it's on paper. And then, you can just paper trade real time. You just have to have the money in the other real time side of things. Live trading is the term. Let me go see what this looks like on X. I'm new. I've been using Robinhood. It has limitations though, but it's easy. Yeah, it is easy, and that's why a lot of people, use it, right? But I hate Robinhood from a day trading perspective. Oh, so it is pretty easy on X. Okay, so you guys should be able to do that. So yeah, Robinhood obviously very easy to use, right? The user interface is extremely easy for beginners, and that's why a lot of people flocked to that, is because they say that there's no commissions and there's all that stuff. But if you think that you're going to be successful day trading, short term on Robinhood on your phone, I would bet all the money in the world against you. I don't mean that in a critical way, but there's just a lot of things that I could get into for an hour about Robinhood. But it's not a bad place to start. It's not a bad place to learn what calls and puts are and what options are and how they move with stocks and all that. But if you want to take this seriously, you're going to need to move to a real trading platform. Duco, yeah, you're something else, homie. Not calling Thinkorswim. Oh, okay. I thought you did use Thinkorswim, but yeah, it does have a delay and a few of them takes far greater than Webull paper trading. I see. Kenny Penny, I saw you type in. What's up? Oh. Thanks, Kenny. How much money do you reckon is best to start with? Well, this is a tough question because it all depends on, who you are, how much money you have to lose if you're a kid. But obviously, if you want to trade with me, I would say 1,000 is a good starting spot. 500 to 1,000. I mean, you could do it with 200, but when I say $1,000, it doesn't mean that you go in with $1,000 every trade. That just means that you have the opportunity to go in with, $200, $250, one or two, maybe three times a day if you really need to. I'm typically a one and done guy. If I can show up, catch a good trade, boom, I'm done. No reason to give my money back. If there's another good trade, I will take it. Just so I say 1,000 just so you have a little bit of cushion to play with. If you start with 200 and you freak out and lose $100 your first trade, well, you're down 50%. Now you only have $100, and there's not a lot of contracts you can buy for $100 that are worthwhile. So that's why I say 1,000. Okay, if you want to get around that $25,000 rule, that basically just means that you need to switch to a cash account and not be on margin, because then you have unlimited day trades up to the amount that you have in your account. So if you have $1,000, you can use $1,000 that day. So whether that's 4 $250 trades, 2 $500 trades, or $1,000 trade, you can use all that money within one day. Cash account, yes. And you wait on settle cash. So basically, you use your $1,000 on Monday. Let's say you use all 1,000, and let's say you make $100, right? So you now have $1,100. You can't use any more of your money if you've already used all 1,000, but the next day you can. So overnight your cash will settle. Sometimes you're going to run into problems with bank holidays, but that only happens a few times a year. So if there's a bank holiday on Monday, then maybe your cash won't settle till Wednesday or something. But like I said, that happens very yeah, Duco, that's good, man. I didn't know that off the top of my head. So for equity meeting, if you buy a share and sell a share within the same day, it takes 3 days. For options, it settles the overnight. Yeah, for sure, Tony. For sure, for sure. Looks like you're new here too. Welcome. Get to it. No, Duco, I like it. You keep it active. I want you guys to ask away. Pretty disappointed at all you guys on Twitter. Very, very quiet. Typically, I have a couple. I'm here for questions. My Thursday night lessons where I'm running the show for the premium guys. So yeah, I do this once a week. So use it up. I got about 10 minutes. If under 25,000 in cash, does a 3-day trades and a rolling 5-day apply and mark you as a pattern day trader? If you're under 25,000, does a 3-day trades and a rolling 5-day apply and mark you as yes? So if you take 3-day trades within the 5-day stretch, meaning if you buy and sell within the same day, 3 different times that week. So if you do 1-day trade on Monday, one on Wednesday, one on Thursday, you're fine. The second you do that fourth one and you buy and sell and you do that fourth one, that is when they're going to flag you and freeze your account. And you get 3 strikes. So, if you do that 3 times, they'll then freeze your account for 90 days and there's nothing you can do about it. Breck will go for it. We'll see if I can say it out loud or not. Does it also apply for options? Yes, it does apply for options as well. So, like I said, if you're under 25,000, then you need to switch to a cash account. When you sign up, you're going to be on a margin account. I believe that's just the default way. If you have a chance to just instantly be on cash, then do it. But yeah, cash account, and then you can get around that $25,000 rule. You can just only use up to what you have. If you're under 25,000 and you're on margin, well, you can use, your leveraged money. You can buy, if you have $1,000 account, you can use all 1,000 on one trade and then use all 1,000 again. What was pretty cool though, back in, I think 2 years ago on Interactive Brokers, which is kind of a reason I switched before I was above 25,000. There was actually a loophole through Interactive Brokers, and even if you're under 25,000 and you only traded options, you had instant settlement. So you had unlimited day trades for the day. And then they actually patched that loophole. But I actually made this mistake one time. I think I was trying to trade a SPY contract or something. And the contract price looked very similar to SPY was like 300 something at the time or something like that. But anyways, the contract was roughly the same price as the actual stock. And I thought I had the contract loaded up and I bought a share, and then my account was no longer unlimited day trades for options. So I had to make a whole new account and transfer the money. So that used to be pretty cool, but that is now over with because it's, borderline illegal, against that pattern day trader law. Are you bearish or bullish for CPI tomorrow? I wish I knew nowadays. Back during the bear market, you could pretty much predict it. If CPI came in hot, the market would absolutely tank. If it came, if it was flat or came in a little bit lower, the market would go up. So I don't know, just because right now we're at all-time highs, and I think it's very easy for us to roll over and get a really nice sell-off. However, like I said earlier on in the stream, sometimes news that isn't as bad as expected, but still bad, is considered good. So, the market will just go up. I do have better downside setups, I think, but, I kind of have 2 and 2. I have 2 good upside setups I'm waiting on, and I have 2 good downside setups I'm waiting on. That doesn't mean I'm bearish or bullish on either of the stocks. That just means if they do come to those levels, that's when I'm going to be interested, and that's when I think that there could be a good trade that could happen. So other than that, I'm just sitting here kind of sideline, being patient, letting them set up. But, that's why my win rate's so high. My trade count is somewhat low. There are day traders that come in here and take 5 or 10 trades a day. And yeah, as exciting as that may sound, that's really not what you need. If you can take 3 solid trades a week, and win the majority of the time, you could really make some good money. If you want to, take a bunch of trades every day and try to force stuff and try to go hunting for trades that aren't really there, well, I can promise you that over time, you're not going to make money. You may have a really good week and then, bad week, good week, bad week, good day, bad day. It's just kind of an up and down. Your equity curve isn't nice and smooth and doesn't, over a year, you go back and look at it and it's just up and down, up and down, up and down, rather than a slow kind of grind up. That's what you want. You want to be kind of exponentially making money on a smaller account, especially. And, you move on. So I got 5 more minutes here, guys. Get those questions in if you've been waiting. Don't be scared. Don't be embarrassed. Makes it easier on me. It's what I'm here for. Like I said, I do this once a week for 1 hour. So, don't waste it. Costco pizza or hot dog? I've actually never had either. Only been in Costco once. Something happened with Costco stock recently, though. Massive run here. One of the analysts thinks that is it XLR? Nope. XKR, XRK. Whatever the retail ETF is. XSR. Nope. It's one of these. I forgot it. It's retail. I know XLF is financial. XLR. It's got to be. I don't know. Blanking here on this. I know we do have bank earnings coming up, though. That'll move the market. Market typically kind of waits on that. And that's what always kicks off earnings season. Anytime you guys start seeing bank earnings come out, those are typically the first names that happen when earnings season starts. So obviously, as you can tell, you haven't heard any big names earnings-wise in the news. Just because earnings season, we already had it and it's come to an end. So now, obviously, we're in the 4th month of the year, and that's when we're going to start, kind of more towards the end of the month. We're going to start reporting Q1 earnings for everything, right? So January, February, March, whoever the companies did then. Let's see when NVIDIA's are. So these are going to be May 22nd. See what Tesla is. April 23rd. So we're coming up close. AMD, April 30. Meta, April 24th. So in about 2 weeks, things are going to start getting a little crazier. So no reason to take stupid trades and lose stupid money before the market starts getting hot again. Maybe CPI starts, a downside move, pulls the market down. We kind of get that relief pullback. We base out a little bit. Big tech earnings come around, then boom, back off to the races. We get some good upside setups, and we've ripped to all-time highs once again on the market. Who knows? Yeah, Costco was a pretty crazy move. Chipotle. They have a 50-to-1 stock split on, let's see, June 26th. So 50-to-1, meaning that right now the stock is, let's call it $3,000, and it's going to be split 50 times. So this is going to go from a $3,000 stock to a $60 stock. Right? That's the right math on it, I believe. A 5-time split would be 600, so that's got to be right. So yeah, a $60 stock. So why do companies do that? If you guys don't know, well, if it's obviously Amazon used to be $3,000 a share, Shopify used to be $2,000. Tesla was $1,000 or $2,000 a couple times. But why do they do that? Well, it's so more people can invest in it. No one really wants to buy $1,000 share, $2,000 share, $3,000 share. right? These companies can't get more investment money because their stock price is so high. So they're going to split this 50-1 now. So now, it's not like the everyday people are going to move this stock, but if you can get a couple million people to start investing in this, slowly, I mean, that's going to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars to the stock. Obviously, institutions can be buying a lot more shares at a time, stuff like that. But from a financial perspective, it makes sense for them to do that. And I don't know why they haven't done it for this long. But it was around 12 to 1500 for a little while, and now obviously it's double that. And I think Chipotle is a good company. I eat it quite a bit, and if they can do that, they split it, get more money in, more stores, more revenue, all that. Yeah, typically right after a stock split, you're going to have people sell off, just because if an institution has a million shares, they don't want 50 million shares, or 500 million shares, whatever it would be. So they would start selling off some of that money wise. Money wise, it's obviously the same, right? But they're going to just sell off shares, so they don't have so many. So yeah, Kenny, you're totally right on that. I'm glad you brought that point up. You'll see if you go back and look at other names that have split, you'll see that right after the split, you'll see the pullback, just the sell off, and then it'll bounce back up. So, but guys, we're at that hour mark. So I'll wait like 10 more seconds, 30 more seconds if there's any questions. If not, then I'm going to wrap things up for the night. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, guys, of course, that's what I'm here for. Thanks for showing up. YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Thank you guys, even though you didn't ask me any questions. And I'll see you guys in the chat tomorrow morning. Have a good one. Good night.